Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Welcome everybody to the Abhidhamma. We are working on mental factors. So far we have completed Sabbha-Chitta Sadharana, the universal mental factors. Then we did unwholesome mental factors. Today we are moving on to wholesome ones. Why did we first discuss those unwholesome ones? Even when we were discussing the chittas, consciousnesses, types of consciousnesses, it was the unwholesome one we first concentrated upon, not the wholesome. You can remember if you recall. Why this partiality towards the unwholesome, akusala? The simple reason is they are natural. They are the very reason that we are moving from one life to another. They are the very reason that we think ourselves in misery, in stress, in distress, in suffering. And we are very much afraid that they might become prominent in our lives and drag us down to the misery, permanently in the perdition, to suffering, to hell. Yeah, we are in fear. If there is fear, if there is a fear for the next life, it is all about moving down, degrading, demoting to a state of misery. Actually, we are in fear of our defilements, our unwholesome state of our existence, unwholesome states within us. Indirectly, we are fear of these unwholesome, because unconsciously we know within us these unwholesome traits, unwholesome energies, negative energies are there. That fear is that they might become prominent, they might become strong and bring us or drag us down to misery. So we are trying to be in guard not to allow those unwholesome energies to override us. So it's very clear why Abhidhamma focuses on unwholesome side first, because I can say they are the natural ones within us. I cannot say that wholesome side is not natural. They too are natural. Yet more powerful are the unwholesome ones. Buddha says they are giant-like. They are like giants within us. That's why it says that when he was about to be enlightened at the threshold of Nibbana, what happened? 10 forces of the Mara came in. 10 forces of the Mara. That means 10 armies of the Mara came in. And when we go through these 10 forces, actually they are about 10 types of kleshas, 10 types of unwholesome energies. These unwholesome energies depicted as 10 types of forces, 10 types of armies of Mara. Of course, in the current traditional Buddhist society. We think there is actual person and there are actual armies came to stop Buddha's enlightenment. No such thing happened. Yeah, that's how our ancestors tried to explain what kind of strength these inner defilements are within us. What types of strength are there? That's what they are trying to depict it, saying that they are like armies, they are like forces, giant like forces, so powerful. So it is very obvious Buddhism always, or Buddha's teachings, considers that lifetime to lifetime, life after life, we were strengthening, we were energizing those unwholesome side within us. It is not generosity we strengthened, it is the greed we strengthened. It is not the love we strengthened, it is the hatred, anger we strengthened. Yeah. So you understand that our hatred is much more powerful and in the natural, pristine mode than our love. There is love within us, but that love is cultivated love. We don't know the natural love. The natural love arises or becomes stronger when we diminish, when we get rid of the power of the hatred through vipassana, through insight meditation, when we are uprooting those negative energies created by anger, negative accumulations based on anger, when we were uprooting, then the natural love arises. The love of a Buddha will arise within us. The compassion of a Buddha will arise within us, not when it is brought from outside or cultivated by force, but when the negative hatred, jealousy, greed, all these negative traits, when they were removing, getting rid of, the natural love, compassion, understanding, yeah, those beautiful qualities will arise. But we have to keep in mind what is most powerful within us, the wholesome or unwholesome. Unwholesome is the most powerful. That's why Abhidhamma explains first the unwholesome. All right. So we completed the unwholesome types of mental factors in our last lesson. And today we shift onto the wholesome side of mental factors. They are basically called beautiful mental factors. Yeah. Sobhana Chetasikas. Why do they call Sobhana Chetasikas? Because if you say wholesome, they are just related to the Kusala Chittas. But when you say beautiful, they are related to the resultants, they are related to the functionals, they are related to the path chittas, and they are related to the fruition chittas. They are related to meditation, fine material, immaterial meditation. All the beautiful side is covered when they use the term Sobhana Chetasikas. Yeah. And these Sobhana Chetasikas basically contained with what? Contained with non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. They are the mothers behind the genesis of all beautiful chittas. Now we move on to that. Now, how many chittas are there? Altogether, you can see the number of chittas here. Hmm? These are the beautiful chittas. Now, the first 19 chittas are designated as beautiful universals. Beautiful universals. That means what I just mentioned, the wholesome chittas. They are resultants. And also the wholesome chittas that arise in arahants, in the Buddhas. They are called functionals, right? Then I talk about the fine material chittas, rupavachara jhana chittas, immaterial chittas, arupavachara chittas. Then the supramundane chittas. What are they? Yeah, path of stream entry, once return, non-returner, and arahant. Sotapanna, sakadagami, anagami, arahant. Magga pala, path and fruition chittas. All these are contained, or when they are in existence, they have to be together with these beautiful, universal 19 mental factors. Right? So these are Sobhana Sadharana Chittas, beautiful universals. All the beautiful chittas are contained of these 19. So we go to a brief description of each of these chittas. Yeah. Sobhana Sadharana Cetasikas, beautiful universals. What are they doing? Reduce our suffering. That's what they do. Increase profound happiness as well as inner and social harmony. Present in all beautiful moments of consciousness. Yeah, I just mentioned, right? 24 wholesome, 27 sublime, and 40 supramundane. All these are together. These 19 universals are there in these types of chittas. Now, this is so important because whenever you do something wholesome, you do it for the sake of reducing your misery. That's the plan. Our doing of good is, we have that understanding, you do good, you get good. Yeah. And it is absolutely important for us to understand, to get the maximum result of what we do as good, or when we perform a wholesome deed, what kind of mind we have to maintain, what kind of mental factors should be there for that wholesome deed to become infinitely fruitful, utterly resultant, giving results. How do we get the absolute results out of this beautiful deed, out of this wholesome deed? I'm doing a dana. I'm giving something what I earned with so much of labor, with hardships. I earned this, and I'm giving this as a charity, as a dana. How am I to get the maximum results out of this? What kind of mind should I maintain? Remember, we already know this, that the karma is generated not with your money, not with your act, not with your external persona you maintain or the exhibition of the action, but with the mental environment you maintain when you are performing that dana. You might be giving a dana, giving something worth hundreds of thousands, or you might be giving something just worth of few dollars. The material value doesn't have any saying on the resultants you generate. they are just excuses. They are just utilities for you to generate that wholesome mental energy, wholesome mental environment within. Now, if you don't have that wholesome mental environment, then what happened? It is just a giving away some of your wealth. That's all. Your generation of your merit is depending upon what kind of wholesome environment you generate within. So, this is something important for us to understand. What kind of mental background should be there within us? First one is Saddha. Saddha comes from the root dha, yeah, with the adjective some, right? So it means to establish, to place, to put, confidence, trust. To establish your trust, your confidence is Shraddha. To establish your confidence. Yeah. Now in Buddhism, this is considered as the foundation of your wholesome citadel, foundation of your building blocks of meritorious or wholesome deeds. Shraddha is the beginning, not the end. Of course, it is loosely translated as faith, no harm. But there is a greater meaning behind Saddha. That means to establish your confidence. Confidence of what? Confidence that performing this would generate positive, pleasant results. That's your confidence. Doing this would generate this kind of positive results for me. Your confidence is that. Now, if you don't have if you don't have that confidence, doing this would give me this positive results. If you don't have that establishment of your trust in it, confidence in it, you won't be doing it wholeheartedly. It will be lukewarm. It is not wholehearted anymore. Well-established confidence, not blind faith, but confidence is based on wisdom. So this confidence is not something we can compare like a faith. Faith is about believing. You may not know anything about it personally, but you believe it. You may not have any sort of experience, or you may not know any way of experiencing it, but you believe it. Yeah. Of course, belief can be very strong within you, but that belief is a blind faith. Blind belief because, in fact, in reality, you don't know what it is. Yeah. That's why they are against arguments. They are against questionings. They are against discussing about. You cannot discuss my faith. You cannot argue about my faith. They get so angry when you talk about their faith. Yeah. But on the contrary, Buddhism says what? Ehipassiko. Come and experience this. Come and experience this. To come and experience, you need to have that confidence. A Gautam Buddha, a human being just like any other human being, just like you and me, developed his consciousness, cultivated his mind to such a degree. He climbed onto the Everest of consciousness. Gauri Shankar, he climbed onto the top of the consciousness in that summit of consciousness, he found the liberation from misery, liberation from the round or cycle of birth and death. Now that confidence is just for the sake of come and see. To come and see that, for that action to manifest, you need confidence. See the difference? The confidence here is to come and see. Ehi passiko. If you don't have that confidence, you wouldn't come and see. But faith, when you are in faith, it is just faith. Okay, I believe. That's all. That belief may be firmly established in you. Yeah. And they must have created all sorts of excuses not to discuss, not to question, not to argue, not to even think about it, but blindly believe. That's not confidence. That's not saddha. Right? See the characteristic, placing trust in something or someone, or the presence of confidence is the characteristic. Function, it's like purifying within you, like a water purifying gem. Now this gem belonged to the wheel turning monarch, Chakravarti, king who rules the entire world. That Chakravarti king has a gem. When you put that gem into a muddy water, that water is immediately purified. Legend. This is legend. That water is immediately purified. So when you put confidence in to any area that you achieve to, that you wish to achieve, you are no more muddled, you are no more confused, you are no more distracted. You are on the track straight forward to your goal. So the confidence is basically purified your mind so that you achieve that goal. Manifestation, clarity and decisiveness, or as a resolute attitude, proximate cause, an object that invokes inspiration or confidence. Yeah. So this is the saddha. Sati, the second universal mental factor, which is needed to do any wholesome deed. You need certain awareness. Sati, of course, comes from the root sar, giving the meaning to remember. So if you are remembering things, that means you have the sati. But keep in mind, when the action is happening, if your awareness is not there, you won't remember it. You will forget about it. Yes, a simple action. You are going out somewhere, you go to job, you go to your door, you get out, you're out of your house, you close the door, lock the door and go out. On the way to the job, while you are driving, now you are thinking, did I lock the door? Did I close the door? Sometimes you might be even forced yourself to return and check whether you locked the door. You cannot remember. Why you couldn't remember? Simply because it was kind of a robotic when you were closing that door and locking it, putting the lock on. It has become kind of a machine-like, robot-like. So your mind was somewhere else. You were not aware, totally aware of your action. That's why you couldn't remember. So sati, the root is, of course, relevant to it, sar, to remember. But we all know, meditators know this, sati is all about present moment. To be totally aware of whatever going on in the areas where you put your attention to. Maybe physical, maybe emotional, maybe mental, maybe outside to you, maybe it is inside you. Wherever you pay your attention, whatever is going on, you are simply aware. You note it. You recognize it. You understand it. You apprehend it as it is. That is sati. Right? Now, characteristic sati is not floating away. Yeah. Now, let's say you are thinking about something that happened in the past. That means you are being floated away to a past memory. It is not awareness. Yeah. It is a distraction. Comparison is pumpkins and pots that float on water. Yeah. Sati is not that. Sati plunges into the object of thought or as an unwavering presence of the mind. Whatever happens, you are just aware. Now, this is we usually practice, right? First beginning with ana, pana, sati. Ana, the incoming, pana, the outgoing. What is incoming and outgoing? The breath. Sati, awareness. You simply be aware. Like a security guard at the palace door. People coming in, people going out. He doesn't interfere them. He doesn't judge them. He doesn't criticize them. He doesn't argue with them, talk to them, nothing. He just be aware of every individual as they are coming in and going out. Just like that security guard, you are just being aware of the incoming and outgoing breath as they are. Sometimes the breath is short, sometimes the breath is long. Yeah. All sorts of different breaths coming in and going out, you are being aware. Now, this practice eventually helps you what? Helps you to be aware of the awareness itself, of the mind itself. Yeah. That awareness could be developed further and further, further and further. To the utmost level, ultimately you will be liberated. So, sati, mindfulness. Function is not to forget. When you are aware, you won't forget. That's why in Buddhism, no one to be blamed as somebody, stupid or ignorant. Maybe that person just was not aware at the moment it was happening. Now it can happen to anybody. It can happen to you. It can happen to somebody else. It can happen to somebody well educated. In unawareness, any stupidity can happen. Any ignorant things can happen in unawareness, in unmindfulness. So nobody is exception in that case. Everybody is similar, right? An uneducated person and a most educated person could be much similar in this way, in the sense of awareness. Anybody can happen to be unaware and do silly things, ignorant things based on that unawareness. Being face to face with what is happening in the moment in body and mind. Yeah, just to be aware, just based face to face, just to be present to whatever is happening. Expression as a guardian angel. Now, do you know the first 20 years of Buddha's ministry, there were no precepts, no rules and regulations to control or to tame, to guide his monastic disciples. Gautam Buddha did not promulgate any precepts for 20 years. We call that 20 years, but the Mahabhisambuddha. Buddha says it is the golden era of his ministry. Yeah. Why did he not promulgate precepts to control this? Those monks who joined the Buddha. What is the need of any precepts? Because whosoever joined the Buddha, they were totally aware and mindful. Lord Buddha guided them to be aware, to be mindful. That was totally enough, absolutely enough for them to be controlled, for them to be guided on the direction of Nibbana, for them to behave well, behave properly, without any troubles. But what happened after 20 years? All sorts of people with ulterior motives started joining the Buddha. They did not have that motive, that pure motive to be aware, to be mindful. They had different types of plans when they were putting on their robes. What happened? Buddha had to promulgate precept after precept, precept after precept. Sometimes they found some loopholes in those precepts and broke the same precepts in different manners. So then the Buddha had to promulgate different precepts to stop that. He had to go through a lot of hassles with the people who joined after 20 years of his ministry. Yeah. So awareness is an guardian angel. When you are totally aware, when you are totally mindful, you are being protected with that same awareness. Dhamme have rakkati dhammachari. That's the meaning we can find for this saying by the Buddha. When you are behaving in the way of Dhamma, you will be protected by the Dhamma, because that Dhamma is nothing but based on awareness, sati. Sati is that Dhamma. Now, when you are following that path of the sati, path of mindfulness, naturally you will be protected. You will be avoiding doing any sorts of wrong, any sorts of harmful things, unbecoming things, illegal things. You will be following the order of the life, way of the world, without being guided, controlled, or advised by anyone, but simply guided by your own awareness, own mindfulness. That's why it is called a guardian angel. Third one, moral shame, hiri. In our last lesson, we were talking about ahiri, yeah, opposite to the moral shame or shamelessness. Characteristic, disgust as regards behavior that causes harm or pain. Yeah. The one who does not have that self-respect. Today, what we call the conscience. When somebody doesn't have that conscience, that shame for his own behavior, then we call that person has the moral shame. This is the Lokapalaka Dhamma. The world is ruled by this Dhamma, the shame to do wrong, shame to do bad. If the people are contained with this shame, to do bad, to do wrong, to do what is illegal, shame to harm others, shame to disturb others, the world would be such a beautiful place, naturally beautiful place, with no rules, with no regulations. The other one is fear of wrongdoing, ottappa, hiri ottappa, both comes together, both comes always being together. The fear for doing wrong, the shame for doing wrong, the shame for about yourself, fear for about others. What would happen to me by the rules of the country, by the society, by the people around, by the religious leaders, what would they think about me? That fear about your status, fear about your name, fear about your family. That fear stops you doing something bad. Yeah. Now the hiriyottappa, fear of shame and fear to do wrong, should be there in all wholesome deeds. Yeah. This is same thing I just said. You can read. The last one, well developed hiri and ottappa increase happiness and harmony in the world. True, right? When everybody, if this world as I mean, in an utopian point of view, if this world to be an utopia, that world links the human beings who exist on this earth should be equipped only with these two deva dharmas, divine characteristics, divine dharma. What is that divine dharma? The shame and the fear to do wrong. That's it. The fifth one, non-greed, alobha. We discussed about this, copiously discussed about this in the first ever lesson. I mean, in the second level of lessons, that when we were discussing the greed-rooted chittas. So we don't hang around much. Lobha is the negative side. Just the opposite is the alobha. Alobha. Yeah. Now, a window pane. Now it is raining here. Yeah, luckily we got some rain here. Now I can see water is falling on the window panes, these glasses, but none of those drops are remaining there. They just fall down. Yeah, they are not being attached to these window panes. They just fall on them, but they are never attached. So you keep things with you. You must need a house. You must need a family. You must need certain things, mundane things, material things in this world to live a comfortable life. There is no harm, no unwholesomeness within in it. Yeah. Things keeping for your comfort, for the comfort of your beloved ones is not an unwholesome thing. What is the unwholesomeness? Unwholesomeness is your attachment to them. You can keep them without attachment. Attachment is what is nothing but the greed, lobha. Yeah. It is not about things that you are keeping. It is about being attached to them. Right? So alobha is like drops of water on a lotus leaf. You have seen lotus leaves, right? No matter what you fall upon them, you may throw some dust on the lotus leaves. Nothing happens. When the rains comes, those dust just vanishes. You throw water on them. Nothing. The water will never stick onto those lotus leaves. They never stick. They contain, but never stick. Water leaves can contain water. I mean, lotus leaves can contain water, but they never stick. They never get attached to the leaf. They never drenched by the water. Alobha is just like that. Now, at the moments when the alobha, the generosity naturally arises in our minds, yeah, it is like cool breeze on a hot day. You can say the fifth point. Alobha is like a cool breeze on a hot day, or like an oasis in a desert. So when you feel like you are being generous, that feeling of generosity, that generosity, you must be felt like that you are feeling that same as somebody experiencing a cool breeze on a hot day, or somebody sees after walking miles in a desert, sees an oasis there. That kind of feeling bound to generate when you feel like you are generous. That natural feeling of aloba or generosity comes to you. Two types of expression of aloba: passive expression, non attached attitude towards an object. It is present but not noticeable. That's the passive one. I just mentioned about it, right? You can keep them, you can be with them, you can maintain them, you can beautify them, you can protect them, but you are not attached. Yeah. Active expression is generosity. You share something with someone, you have something extra, you have something more than you need, and you share it. Just like a tree. Have you seen the trees are sharing flowers and fruits with the world? Does the tree think, oh, I am sharing so much of fruits with the world, so much of fragrance in the form of flowers with the world? Have you seen any competition among the trees and flowers, flower pots? Can you see a competition among the rose bushes and other flowers? Yeah. They equally share their beauty with the world. Have you seen the jasmine creeper and rose bushes are fighting in contest to decide with whom sharing the most with the world? The jasmine shares such a beautiful fragrance with the world, and the rose shares beautiful, such a beauty with the world. They never in contest. It is just an expression. They have so much of beauty within, so they express it in the form of sharing with the world. We cherish them. Those trees are so beautiful because of the sharing. Is your sharing add some beauty to you? Or is it adding some ego to you? Adding some cheap stuff to your life to show off, to exhibit that you are such a generous person in the world. Others must know about it. Something like that. This is something to think. My sharing should add a beauty to my mind, beauty to my life. Just like flowers adding beauty to a tree, fruits adding value to a tree. Are, are those non hatred, benevolence? Yeah, this is just metta. Adosa is nothing but metta. Metta is friendliness, right? Being friendly, opposite of anger or hatred. Characteristic like an agreeable, non vindictive friend. Agreeable, non vindictive friend. Absence of churlishness or coarseness. Yeah. A a friendly person is a soft person. It doesn't mean a weak person. Remember, being friendly or practicing or developing metta is not becoming weak. Yeah, it is becoming a soft person but a firm person. Soft but a strong person. Manifestation as well-being, of course. Two aspects. Passive expression of non-hatred or metta is as the mild and accepting attitude towards the experience that present in themselves. Yeah. accepting attitude. Active expression manifests as benevolence, radiating metta. It is the active way of practicing or developing adosa. What is metta in Abhidhamma? Root is mid. Mid is the Pali root that generated metta, giving the meaning to soften, to love. Maitri is the Sanskrit word. It is explained as mitrasya bhava. Mitrasya bhava. State of a friend is metta. Metta is state of a friend, a very benevolent friend. That which softens the mind, or friendly disposition, goodwill, benevolence, loving kindness. In ultimate sense, identification of oneself with all beings. Yeah, identification of oneself with all beings simply is metta. You don't like to be harmed, so also anyone in this earth, anyone in this world, on this earth. Yeah, you like to be well and happy, so also everybody else. So may I be well and happy. May all living beings be well and happy. Simple. Yeah. You like to be well and happy. Who doesn't like? So also the rest of the world. Then comes equanimity, tatra majjhatata. That's the word used here, tatra majjhatata. Tatra, there, with respect to its objects. Majjhatata, middleness, equipoise. Being in the middle, tatra majjhatata. This refers to an inner equilibrium or impartiality, characteristic wholesome mind state that balances relationship between chitta and chetasikas. Yeah, whichever balances. Here, when I speak to many people who come here and support us, help us, they say we have to balance our life in everything, with our friends, with our family, and in the relationship with the temple. You have to balance it. Yeah, this is nothing but tatra majjhatata. Balancing means preventing extremes. Manifestation as neutrality. Comparison. Comparison is when a charioteer runs a chariot, dragged by two horses. Well-bred, thoroughbred, well-trained horses dragging it. He's just balancing it. If someone is running faster, he indicated that horse to run slower. If a horse is slagging, becoming slower, then he indicate that horse to keep up with the other horse. So balancing the two horses. That's what tatra majjhatata. Balancing your life in the extremes. Tatra majjhatata is same as upekka. So upekka and tatra majjhatata is just the same, but here it has taken in a different name as tatra majjhatata, because upekka also considered as something neutral, something not positive, something not not this kind of wholesome. It is some kind of related to unwholesome. You are not happy, that's all. So without using upekka here, in the wholesome mental factors, tatra majjhatata. Can you do a dana being extreme? That's the question to ask. When you are in extreme, you will dislike, you don't want to give some people, you don't want to share with particular people, you want to share with some other people. That is being partial, being extreme. Your dana is not that wholesome. So you have to be moderate. Tatra majjhatata. This one we discussed already, upekha. Yeah, in the past lessons you can see them clearly. Then we go to these dualities: tranquility of mental body and consciousness. Kaya passati, chitta passati. Kaya, when you hear this, yeah, kaya indicates usually to the body. But here in Abhidhamma, it is about mental body. That means mental factors. Kaya passati, chitta passati. Tranquility of mental body and the tranquility of the mind. Please read this. Mental body is an aggregation of associated Cetasika. Passati is tranquility, calmness, quietude, serenity. Are you maintaining this mind and mental factors calm, quiet, in serenity when you are performing the wholesome deed? That's the question to ask. Because I have myself some experiences when we go to some danas. You must have seen the way they behave. Yeah, that calmness is not there, the serenity is not there within. It is clearly shown in their actions, in their behavior. Even that atmosphere is not there. Forget about in the houses when they come to this temple for attending certain events. They behave as if a social gathering. They forgot that this is a religious gathering. They talk nonsense, political, social, yeah, day-to-day events. They forget totally about Buddha, and the monks are sitting there. And they behave as if it is a social gathering. Do you think they generate merits in that situation? That's the question. Because that mental serenity is not there. Kaya passadi, chitta passadi, that mental, mind and mental, that serenity, that calmness, tranquility is not there. So it is not a competition, it is not a rushing, it is not something troublesome you do. Yeah, you are doing something wholesome. So you have to maintain that kaya passadi, chitta passadi. It's very sad to see. It is happening in the Vihara so much. Yeah. So I don't know what their plan is. They are just wasting their time, wasting our time and their time. That's all. Then comes the kaya lahuta, chitta lahuta. Lightness of mental body and the consciousness. Chitta and chetasikas, mental factors and the mind, is light. That means flexible. Flexible. For example, you are doing a dana to Sangha, yeah, and suddenly there comes a beggar asking for some food. Now you are bending towards offering dana. Yeah. Of course, you have some extra food. Would you share some food with that homeless man who came to your home asking for some food? If you can bend towards that dana as well, out of compassion to that individual, homeless guy, that is your kaya lahuta, chitta lahuta. That flexibility of your mind and mental factors. Yeah? That kaya lahuta, chitta lahuta. That flexibility, that that adaptability for yourself when you are doing that wholesome deed. Then comes the kaya mudita, chitta mudita. Quite similar to that. Kaya lahuta, chitta lahuta. Here it is about being without any rigidities, without any, you know, kind of. Now, for example, I would say that uh, I had this experience. Once I was invited, somebody in Sri Lanka came to my temple inviting us to come to his house for a dana. He needed 7 monks. We don't have 7 monks. So I said, You better bring us the vehicle. I will invite some other monks from other temples. You have to go and fetch them. Then he said, okay. Before leaving the temple, he just came close to me and said, Bante, you can invite any other temple, I don't mind. But please don't invite any monk from a particular temple, he said. From that temple, please don't invite. Yep. He is so against those monks. Then what is it missing? He is missing kaya mudita, chitta mudita. He's so rigid. He is maintaining that rigidity against, yeah, and also he's not impartial. Yeah, that tatra majjhatata is not there. Now you can ask whether he's generating that purity of merit within him, whether he's generating that beautiful resultants out of this dana. Yeah, or he is maintaining that ego, he's maintaining that same worldly, mundane types of mind on that beautiful deed. Yeah. So kaya mudita, chitta mudita. Non-resistance is the manifestation. It is like a skin that is well molded by applying oil, water, etc. That's the example given by when you massage your skin with oil or water, then your skin becomes soft. Just the same way, your mind is soft. It is malleable. Opposition now what? Mana, conceit, and wrong view, ditti. Now you can see. Can anyone generate conceit and wrong view and do meritorious deeds? Impossible. Conceit and wrong view doesn't work with a good deed, wholesome deed. You can do good things with these, but they won't generate merits for you. That's the idea. Then comes the kaya kammanyata, chitta kammanyata. That means weirdness, workability, sociability, serviceability, serviceability. That means your mind is active. Yeah, it is workable. It is wielding. You can wield your mind. This is the second important thing. Mind and mental factors, workability is so significant when you are doing a wholesome deed. Yeah, please read ahead. Simile is important. Heated metal made it fit to use for any purpose. Now that workability of the mind, when it is there, you will use any opportunity for do something good. You will not harm the wholesome state of your mind because of the things that are happening against. You will use all the opportunities to generate wholesome energy when the mind is workable. Then comes the kaya pagunyata, chitta pagunyata. Suppression of sickness of the mind and its concomitants, and having a strong and healthy mind. Proficiency of the mind and mental body. Proficiency. Yeah. Absence of disability. This is again, yeah, they are all supporting each other. Mental factors and mind. We were talking about kaya mudita, chitta mudita, kaya kammanyata, chitta kammanyata. Yeah. All these are kind of working together. If you don't have that malleability of the mind, you don't have any the others as well. Something like that. So your mind is propitious. Your mind is generating positive results. Please read this. All right. Last duality. Chayu ujjukata, chitta ujjukata. Ujju is kind of straightforward. Someone who is straight in his mind and mental factors. Rectitude of mind and mental factors. Straightforwardness and honesty. Yeah. Ujjukata. Stop tortuous and deluding mental states. Uprightness is the manifestation, opposed to hypocrisy, fraudulence, deception, and craftiness. Now, these 19 concomitants are common to all types of moral consciousness, either as dominant forces or as almost invisible players in the background. Out of these 19, they may not be visible when the actual thing is happening, but they are in the background, they are supporting. Every moral consciousness would be associated with all these 19 wholesome mental factors. Abhidhamma says, your generation of merits, your doing of wholesome deeds should be supported by these 19, or else there wouldn't be desired results out of the wholesome deed. They are just deeds without results, without much results, I can say. Yeah. Then comes the occasionals, Sobhana Chetasikas. Occasionals means they are not all the time happening. They are happening in particular situations. They are the abstinences, illimitables, and wisdom faculty. Abstinences, illimitables are the immeasurables. Yeah. We will know what they are. The wisdom faculty do not arise automatically with all the wholesome consciousness. They are guests that appear only with suitable conditions. That's why they are called parking makers. What are the abstinences? Right speech, samma vacha. Yeah. Now, samma kammanta, right action, samma ajiva, right livelihood. Now we know these are part of the Eightfold Noble Path, which are natural in the enlightened ones, in Buddhas, in Arahants. And all these three happening at the same time in Buddhas, in Arahants. But for us, it's happening at the times we concentrate upon or we focus upon, we develop each of these, right? When the right speech is happening. It is happening, the only thing that's happening. Yeah. Then we may have to concentrate on the others. Right speech is what? Right speech is, these are abstinences, right? What are we avoiding when we are into right speech? We avoid lying, gossiping, harsh words, and fruitless talk, vain talk, useless blabber. Yeah. Pisunavacha, musavada, pisunavacha, parusavacha, sampapalapa. Right action, avoiding the actions of killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. Right livelihood, avoiding doing the business of killing animals, weapons, poisons or drugs, intoxicants. So avoiding these things are the abstinences. Now these abstinences that happen all the time in Arahants, but not all the time in the mundane living beings just like you and me. Please read the lines below. Characteristics. All right. Now, there are three types of abstinences. Yeah, first one is natural abstinence, sampatta virati. Deliberately preventing or stopping harmful, destructive behavior. Based on what? Based on your lifestyle, upbringing, and social position. Yeah, social position. This ethical antenna appears when unwholesome behavior could arise or has already arisen. When you remember your social status, your education, your family, oh, I might bring shame to my family, my status, my name, then you naturally avoid natural abstinence. Then the abstinence by following ethical guidelines, samadhana virati. When you observe precepts mindfully and when you are mindful about observing your observed precepts, then you will avoid. Then abstinence by uprooting samucheda virati. Now that is for arahants. That is for the individuals who are on the path to nibbana, from sotapanna to arahant. For them, they are not naturally engaging in unwholesome things because the the forces, unwholesome forces that would drive them to do those things are not there. For example, when you are when you have get rid of greed, or when you have subdued your greed, what happened? Stealing wouldn't happen. Taking what is not given wouldn't happen. Right? Natural. You would not lie. You would not, when you have uprooted your anger or suppressed your anger, you wouldn't express any rude remarks, no cursing. Natural. So samucheda virati, that happens to Buddhas or the ones who are on the path to Nibbana. So these are the triple types of abstinences. Sampatta virati, natural abstinence. Samadhana virati, abstinence due to ethical guidance. And samucheda virati, abstinence by ethical. Now comes the illimitables. Illimitables are the immeasurables. Yeah. These are the Brahma Viharas, we call them. Yeah. The way the Brahma live. What are they? Loving kindness, metta, compassion, karuna, appreciative joy, mudita, and impartiality, upekha. Now we know already loving kindness we did. Impartiality, upekha we did. Right? So Abhidhamma says no need to say them again. So we go to the compassion, karuna. Karuna root is kar, to do, to make. That which makes the hearts of the good quiver when others are afflicted with sorrow is karma. When you see someone is in misery, someone suffering, world is full of them. You know, in spite of religion and language, in spite of the color of our skin, everywhere somebody is suffering. And today, due to this globalization, a village kind of thing, yes, they are happening. It is, they are, that those happenings are available for us to witness. When you see them, what kind of feeling that arises? When you feel that empathy within you towards their misery. That is your compassion. That's the karuna. Yeah. So natural karuna is there. Imagine when you get rid of your jealousy, get rid of your all sorts of negative things with the meditation. What kind of compassion would arise within you? That is karuna, developed karuna through vipassana. Right? Now, grief. If you feel so sad and if you start crying about it, that is not karuna, it is grief. Karuna is that empathy. Yeah. The thinking of, oh, How can I help them? Or even at least wish, may the help come to them fast. Somebody may help them. Some kind of a wish. Yeah. That kind wish. That's karuna. Not crying about it, not putting on, developing a grief on them. It is not karuna, it is a grief. Please read the notes. See, compassion is not pity, which arises in overwhelming sorrow. Compassion is warm, but at the same time, non-attached mercy. Compassion is not cheap, all right? Compassion is kind of uh, a very elevated state of your mind. Yeah, it is developed, as I said again and again. It is developed through vipassana. Then that compassion is like Buddha-like compassion. Buddha-like compassion. Then comes the appreciative joy. Yeah, root is mud, meaning to please. Being joyful, joyfully sympathetic with the material and immaterial good fortune of others. Of course, when somebody is in misery, compassion would arise even a little bit. But how about when somebody is doing good? When somebody is doing better than you, maybe? Just like a mom, a beloved mother, beloved father, seeing their children doing so well, even better than them. That good mother, that good father, how would they feel about the successful development of their children? That's mudita. Seeing that child is doing so well, developing the world so well, that happiness, that joy is mudita. Please read the notes. Mudita is congratulatory in nature and causes resistance to melt away. Yeah, I'm so happy for you. If you can say genuinely from your heart, that is nothing but colored by your mudita within. So hard, right? Because envy is there, jealousy is there. Now, due to this jealousy, you may not be congratulating. Heartfelt congratulation is difficult to find. Yeah. If you suppress that envy and jealousy, understanding the reality, nature, understanding the law of cause and effect, yeah, then the real mudita can surface a little bit. Yeah. Of course, with vipassana, it will come out very powerfully, just like Buddha's mudita. Then comes the last one, last wholesome factor, panya, wisdom. Nya is the root. Nya is the root. To know. To know rightly or right knowing is panya. Panya translated, what does it say? Right knowing. Right knowing. Characteristic. Penetrating things according to their intrinsic nature. Yata sabhava pativeda. Penetrating things according to their intrinsic nature. That knowledge, that wisdom is what we call panya. Illuminate the objective field like a lamp. Bringing panya is like bringing a lamp to a dark place. That's why the word enlightenment or enlightened is ideal for nibbana, ideal for liberation. You bring a light in to yourself and you are illumined with that light. Manifestation, non-bewilderment, proximate cause, yoniso manasikara. Panya arises when you are reflection. Wise is, I mean, when you reflect wisely, panya arise. What are the synonymous terms used in the Abhidhamma as well as in Buddhist texts for panya? Panya, jnana, and amoha. These are the terms we can find. Now, I wrote these notes about it. These terms are found in the Buddhist texts for panya. Jnana, yeah, in types of consciousness connected with knowledge. Now remember, jnana sampayutta, Abhidhamma already got it right. When the knowledge is involved, knowledge of karma and results basically, when that knowledge is involved, with that knowledge, when you do something, that kind of karma is called jnana sampayutta. Ammoha, that's another term for jnana or panya, one of the three moral roots. Vimamsa, chanda chitta virya vimamsa, yeah, four iddipadas, one of the iddipadas, as one of the four means of accomplishing one's ends. Iddipadas. Vimamsa is examination. Then there is term abhinya. When purified by samadhi, panya assumes the honorable role of abhinya. Basically, abhinya are the kind of developed mental states through meditation. But it is another term for panya, wisdom, type of panya. Yeah. Then Dhamma Vichaya Sambojjhanga comes in where? 7 factors of enlightenment. Sati Sambojjhanga, Virya Sambojjhanga. Yeah. So Dhamma Vichaya Sambojjhanga, Dhamma Vichaya. Yeah. States of investigation. Again, another term for panya. Then comes the Sammaditthi in the Eightfold Noble Path. That's another term for panya. So these are the terms we can find in Abhidhamma as well as in the textbooks for panya. Jnana, amoha, vimamsa, abhinya, dhamma vichaya bojjhanga, sammaditthi. All right. So with that, we are finished, or we completed the Sobhana Cetasikas, beautiful mental factors. We do a short blessing. May you all have a beautiful weekend. Yeah. Sabbityo vivaccantu sabba rogo vinassatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi dirghayuko bhavat bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanghanubhavena sada satti bhavantu te. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.